In this video, we're going to explore a series of top tips of how to get the most out of VideoIPath. First up, adding users and user access control. So to add this, we press on the cog going into our settings, scroll down until we see user access control, and then we can select users. Within VideoIPath, there's multiple tiers to the level of access that we're able to provide to different users. So each user gets a selection of roles that are assigned to them, and these can be saved into predefined templates. So we're going to create a user and give them the operator access and see the different levels of control that are available to that new operator. So clicking on users, I press create. Let's create a test account, password. Select our domain to be default. And within VideoIPath, there are 3 different methods of having user access control. This can be done via VideoIPath itself or using LDAP/single sign-on services. We're just going to focus on VideoIPath for this particular application. So save that, and as you'll see, the test account has been added. Now we need to edit the rights that are available to that. As I mentioned, we're going to use one of our templates and provide them with operator access. So select operator. This gives them a variety of different bits of functionality that they have access to. Press save. That has now added that account under test into VideoIPath. So I need to log out of my account here. Go to my test account. And as you can see, not only have we switched to light mode rather than dark mode from the previous account, we have a lot fewer apps that are available to this particular operator. We can see the inspect app, the matrix, different panels that are available in the system, and some basic service monitoring. Next up, how to change the interface language. Not only can we upload different languages, English, Polish, German, for example, but we can also tweak how that local language has different terms represented. So to do this, we need to go into the settings. Click on the cog, scroll down to languages. First up, download the default language that's been installed, and then open this up in a text editor. As you can see, there are many different parameters that we're able to edit within the text file. I'm just going to change this simple example of the word save to the word commit. Save that. Then going back to VideoIPath, give the language a name, and then I need to upload the file. Select that, and then upload that into the system. This now means that it's an available language in the pool that we have access to. Let's close settings. And then we need to go to the individual user settings. So within the system, each user is able to have their own local version of a language. So I now have that test one we just created available. I press save, and as you can see, the word save has now been changed to commit. Next up, tagging. A really powerful feature, especially in systems at the much larger scale of things. Tagging is useful across multiple different applications within VideoIPath, from whether that is inspecting different connections or whether it's talking about creating those panels, hardware or software. So to have a look at the tags that we have active in the system, select the cog and then scroll down on the left-hand side to tags. Here you'll see that we've got a couple of different groupings for those tags, the physical location where they are, so whether, as they are in this instance, in OB1, or whether they're in a facility. Format is another important grouping when it comes to tagging, as obviously when you're starting to work in productions, you may be doing examples where you're having a parallel HDR and SDR workflow, for example, and you really want to be able to hone in on certain sources for only that particular format. Then it also becomes important when you're starting to talk about the different types of devices that you've got. Obviously, this is an incredibly complex system that we've got deployed here, covering a wide variety of different devices. And we can bring in those tags so you can drill down to, using this example, an MLS-X1, you've got your dedicated outputs and your assignable outputs. And you can really drill down to a high level of detail depending on how you have tagged different I/O. Now let's explore how to enhance software panels within VideoIPath by embedding web pages into them. So jumping into our panel application, and here is an example with the Key Pro Ultra 12G from Arja and how we're actually able to embed that into one of our soft panels. So having a quick look at that, we're able to not only embed URLs and from particular devices, but some devices we also support the ability of gathering thumbnails from them and presenting those in those software panels. This can really simplify operational workflows, especially when you're starting to deal with monitoring across wide systems or just needing an extra space to be able to monitor that source before it goes to air. Now let's explore the powerful concept of virtual devices within VideoIPath. This is the ability to disconnect the physical device and the logical device within the tool. This is particularly powerful when you're using spare resources. So in this example, we're going to use a CCU16, which is actually a spare camera, and let's say something's being rented in. You don't want the fact that the device is not physically with you to be crippling your ability to set up for the production. So what we do is we create a virtual device within the system that we can set up all those connections to your vision mixers, multi-viewers, replay engines, etc. And then when the device arrives on site, it's as simple as connecting that into the infrastructure, selecting your device, selecting your virtual connection, and then pressing connect. Next up, the powerful topic of virtual junctions. This is the ability within the system to create a virtual handoff point between two parts of the system. So, for example, you can take the output from your distribution encoders, pass that to a static point, and then everything downstream of that, the system is unaware of. And then obviously the handoff point, the people who are receiving those signals are then able to take those into their infrastructure. If they need to in an IP world, they can NAT those, add in additional security protections to simplify their workflow. But from the operators within the OB truck, all they're doing is selecting that virtual junction as that point. Now we're going to talk about alias names and the powerful experience for customization that brings within VideoIPath, not only from the interface itself, but also from exterior devices. VideoIPath natively supports unlimited alias names, and if you're doing a bulk import and bulk edit for a particular production, you're able to export those as a JSON file or Excel and then re-import those back into system to really make it simple to do a bulk upload. However, if you need to edit one or two sources, that can be a bit cumbersome. So there's an alternative way that we can do that using our Connect Studio application. If you search for the source that you wish to tweak the alias name, this instance, I've already selected the SDR sources. I click on the three dots, edit, and under the alias name tab, I can see all of the alias names that are associated with that particular source. Now, it's great being able to have all these alias names assigned to these sources, but we really want to be able to assign those to different areas of the interface. So if I quickly go to my user settings, I can very quickly change the alias names that are associated with this user account. And that's able to be custom across the complete system. However, that's not the only location where we're able to customize these. If I quickly go to my panel builder, you can also see that at a panel level, I'm able to change the alias names on a page-by-page basis. And this is the same for if you're interfacing with a vision mixer like the MLS X1 or the hardware panels and software panels that are available in the system. And of course, exactly the same goes for multi-viewer workflows as well. Hopefully you never need this top tip. However, we always need to prepare for the worst, especially when you're in a mobile environment. So here's where VideoIPath is able to support you in those emergency scenarios. So here I'm currently switching my show as typical on an event on the vision mixer, and then disaster happens, operator issues or power outage on the vision mixer. Now we need to prepare for an emergency scenario very quickly. Within the system, we can start direct cutting from this panel, which connects straight into VideoIPath, and we're cutting sources straight to air from those system cameras. Then operator issues have been resolved. We're able to very quickly get back to cutting straight on the mixer, as you would expect as part of a normal production. Our last top tip is related to audio workflows and bridging that ST2110-30 environment into a Dante environment. So here we're going to look at a simple example, camera audio output into our Dante environment. So let me just filter the view to simplify what we're looking at to only the selected services. And here you can see the environment that we're operating in. Down here is our CCU. The CCU audio output is routed through the network into a virtual device. This is then bridging the two worlds from an ST2110-30 multicast environment into a statically configured Dante session that then is passed into that audio workflow. The audio workflow then takes place, and that is then obviously passed back into the -30 environment for it then to go into the program chain. I hope these top tips have helped you in your journey to explore the functionality available within VideoIPath.